Welcome back to Living on the Ocean. Trimaran Dawn extending her stern on the Sandbank. And how did we do that? And another interesting question is obvious, why would you do that? Her bow is so deep in the water that it functions like a daggerboard all the way in the front, and with following waves that makes it very hard to steer. If we lengthen her stern, then she can tip backwards and still has a very nice waterline and the bow will come up. And this needs to be done before the new rudder can be attached. So with a high tide we put her on the sandbank to take the old rudder off and close the holes from the bolts before the tide would come back. That was step 1. Every time it was a low tide I could work more, and with wooden battens we built the new shape. And inside that shape we built a second shape. In between the first shape and the second shape were little spaces of foam, exactly 2 centimeters. A very strong framework was built against this inside frame, so that we could take it out without getting any distortion in the shape. This all took a couple of days and the wood on the bottom definitely got wet, but that wasn't a big problem, and finally we could take it out. Working with the tide meant that sometimes we had to work late, but just before the sun went down we had a new shape, the inside one, on the foredeck of Trimaran Dawn. There we have made a tent to give us some insulation for the night so that condensation would not make it wet, because now we had to put foam on her, 2 layers of 10 centimeters, so we would make the exact 2 centimeters for the spaces that we made. And every evening we had to cover her up again. That always took quite a bit more time than we planned, but the work was getting there, and I put in hundreds and hundreds of screws to get the 2 layers very well glued together and very tight. And when the glue had cured, all the screws had to come back out and she needed to be plastered and sanded. So we got a very nice smooth hull, and I think that worked out very well. We were lucky with the weather, and we used every hour that we could, and soon all the glass fiber was on top of her as well. We plastered her nice and smooth, and then we took her off her shape and brought her to the back. Now we were gonna find out, did we do it right? Was this fantastic looking shape that looks like a UFO that landed somehow there on the end of our boat? Is he gonna fit? Yes, and Cheryl quickly gets inside to get me the clamps to just make sure that I can just get it tight against the boat, clamped onto the outside shape. And then when you see it fits, that's such a great feeling, especially after all the time that we put into it. We worked both so hard, and we also spent a lot of time planning it, thinking about how to do a job like this on the sandbank. I like to work clean, and for that I made a floating box. Already 2 years ago for Twilight, but it's very handy for this job on Trimaran Dawn as well. With our vacuum cleaner in it, plastic tape to it, we can work very clean. And we stay ourselves clean laying in it as well. And even when the tide comes up, I float up a bit and I can work a bit longer. We put plastic over for the night because inside it still took a couple of days before she was glassed. But when that was done, the tent, the little cover could be removed. The battens could come off the outside and we finally could see the real shape. And we could finish the glass fiber above the waterline where the battens were. Now she starts to look the way we were hoping for. Except for painting and final plastering first, the outside is basically done, but inside this shape a lot needs to be done. It needs to be built very strong because the chain plates for the backstay are gonna pull on it. So those we're gonna make from carbon fiber. An interesting and nice job to do. Also the carbon fiber connections for the rudder. The blade we already built last year. Then we want storage for our gas bottles and maybe our outboard. So a lot is gonna be built in this shape. And then she also still needs to get a top on it with steps in it to the water. So there's a lot more to do. Plus we have a couple other things on our list what we want to do to improve Trimaran Dawn. Thanks for watching Living on the Ocean and following Trimaran Dawn.